So let's start with higher time frame structure here, though. We're looking at the daily. Again, looks like we're pretty bullish overall, but then consolidating, right? It looks like we built liquidity at this level, right? Higher time frame liquidity, then swept and tapped into a higher time frame daily zone here, right? So again, this is something that I would look at probably from a weekly basis, right? I always want to see what we're potentially tapping into on the higher time frame, again, to get a higher time frame direction or idea of direction. And if I'm swing trading, I can potentially hold any longs that I've taken from here and hold through pullbacks, right? And we're also, Sam, that's also correct. We are pretty much at the equilibrium, right? This being premium, this being discount over the overall daily leg. So that being said, I guess let's mark out some 4-hour zones too. Sam, if you want to mark some out, you're welcome to do it. And we'll look for some nice entries. I'm just going to start marking out whatever. We'll see if anything produces a reaction, and then we can always take continuations later, right? Within the session that we want to play.
Personally, mate, looking at that, I'd be looking to short it. Personally, because it's just
based on this sweep.
Highs, right? Yeah, exactly. It's just sweat highs. We've got like this massive unmitigated wick, this doji, and this is corrected as well. Like it's built that trend line liquidity there, right? So I'd be thinking more. I'd want to see what this reacted from, personally, because that's a big reaction, right? We've broken 4-hour swing structure here. That breaks that, so that's a new high. So yeah, we've broken 4-hour swing structure there. This whole area here looks interesting. What's that? What time frame?
So we can investigate that. It is actually a 4-hour zone. It looks like here. It's a little messy, right? Because it's
messy, yeah.
Efficient price action, but more likely than not, on like the 15 or 1 hour, I'm sure there's something in this zone that we're tapping into. So that makes sense to me. We haven't really like broken structure yet, but we are producing a reaction off of it. Potentially we can look for shorts, but yeah, let's give it a go. I'm gonna just skip over to London, or an hour before London, Frankfurt Open, and then we can start looking for something here. And we are gonna do like rewind and stuff, so like we can all learn from it, right? We're not gonna try and call exactly what happens. Find like I learned better that way. But if we do happen to catch a couple trades, call it out, then that's cool too. So we're gonna let price play a little bit. There's Frankfurt Open.
But we're in Frankfurt Open.
What's that?
We're in Frankfurt Open now, yeah?
This is Frankfurt Open. Just so everybody knows, this is daily on the top left. We've got 4-hour, 1 hour over here, 15-minute, 5 and 1. So yeah, let's look at what's happening here. It looks like we broke structure. It looks like we swept liquidity into this, honestly. So I can see like a good reason to take shorts. Again, looking from what Sam said here, this is a daily and 4-hour higher time frame liquidity that's built up. It's swept, it's pushed down. Let's see if we can potentially take something here.
Hit it. Go back. Get that order block.
This one here, yeah. Let's see if we get a retest on it. Potentially might, right?
Yeah, we might get a continuation out of it. I wouldn't want to take that now though, because it's equal highs, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's wait. We don't need to rewind quite yet. Let's see if we can catch something straight away. It does look like it's pushing down pretty good though. So this, to a degree too, I would see this wick almost as a demand zone. I know we're jumping like straight into the 1 minute here, but Sam is right. We did start to produce a reaction off of this, which is pretty nice, right? This is kind of like that whole idea of decisional versus extreme, but this has equal highs, so it is kind of pretty. I would say this is pretty aggressive. If you're going to try and short something like this, I don't think I would necessarily do it, but let's.
Well, man, it's nice, man. I'd try and short that. So
a little out of my personal comfort zone for this one. By the way, guys, we're going to do management based on higher time frame. And if we are going to do like counter trend trades, we'll take those at 5-hour, but yeah, there you go. It's melting. So London volume took over on that one. Looks like.
It's this. I mean, it's this whole movement. It's so aggressive. Like it looks like they want to blow through this. That's what I would be guessing.
And the other thing is we also have equal highs or lows at this point, right?
Those big equals there. This again on daily, right? This low here fails to create. So you would guess that that daily low is weak here, this one. So I wouldn't necessarily want to short something from here down to take that out because I'd be worried about pullbacks to up in here.
And that's something I want to address here too, because I think I see a lot of people in the EU like scalp chat try to take trades like this where you're so far down in the leg and the price, like I mean the move is already pretty much happened, but then you see something like this where it's like a 5-minute reaction and break below. There's no way I would ever take this. Well, I think you agree, Sam, right?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, the thing is, right, you have to be aware of structure. When you break structure, you get a pullback. So after you break structure, you shouldn't be looking to continue to short until you've had the pullback that's failed, basically.
Yeah.
And the pullback will 9 times out of 10 come into an area. Like now, this is looking really good, mate. This area here, something in there. Yeah, these wicks here, those 2 wicks. Can you draw a little box from them?
Let's do it. Sorry, which one? On this one?
This one here. I think that's 15-minute. Yeah, 15-minute.
This is a 15. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. This is the hour. This is the 15.
Yeah, no, sorry. I don't know. My drawings are all over the screen. Yeah, but those 2 wicks specifically, the buy to sell wicks there.
Wicks, I see. Yeah. Okay, so that would probably be a 5-minute.
Yeah, I think it'd be a 5-minute.
It's not showing up. Oh,
my drawing on your screen.
Yeah, let me clear it for a second. 1 second. And again, if anybody wants to draw on the screen too and try and call out zones that you think would work, go for it. And then we can explain whether it does or doesn't, why we think it will or why we think it won't. And then we'll see if it does or not. This looks like Sam. It honestly looks like this might be just some 1-minute thing. It doesn't even show up on the 5. And look, now we're tapping into this. So I'm going to expect that we are going to produce maybe like a small reaction off of this, but you're right. It probably will break through, right? Because we have this liquidity sitting below it. So let's see. I'll push price a little bit faster here so we can have more ground. Now we're approaching London Lull too. So yeah, it looks like this is pretty much going to fail, or it's going to produce that small reaction, as I mentioned, right? So I wouldn't be looking right away for longs off of this, just to be clear or anything. Okay, I've seen people do stuff like that too. It's kind of a big no-no. Whether it works or not, it's just you're catching a falling knife, right? There's our small reaction. Let's see. And remember, this is during London Lull, so we wouldn't be trading this anyways. This kind of 2-hour or 3-hour period until 7 a.m. Eastern or noon EST. So I'll skip ahead a little bit on this one. Let's see if we can catch something in New York. So actually what I'm curious about is whether this potentially tapped into something to the left. But again, because we're so low in the leg and we don't know if it's going to continue down, I don't necessarily want to short it here either quite yet until we produce something like a sweep of liquidity, something like that, right? Yeah, that's our 15-minute breakage structure. We're building more liquidity here. This potentially could just break down from here, or it could come sweep this into potentially this zone here, right?
Yeah, normally you get a pullback beyond the 15 boss, right, to come back up to mitigate whatever broke structure.
Building good liquidity.
What time is it? It's starting New York.
Oh, we might have had news there. No? Oh, we have news coming up though.
That just pulled, yeah, that's...
So there you go. That was
What
this.
that tapped into that, yeah.
Yeah.
So give you... Do you know, keep an eye on this, because I reckon we'll get a short out of this, mate. Look at that reaction. That reaction's so clean,
You
man.
could take a retest on this potentially.
You could take the wick, but let's see what happens in here. Would have shorted on that tap. Yeah, you can, mate. You definitely could have shorted that because you don't have to go bullish to get back, really. Well, you do. If you break above here, you have to go bullish to
Break
get back.
5-minute structure, but again, like this is where liquidity overrides that 5-minute structure, right? And I'd still say on the 15-minute, you're pretty bearish. So that makes sense to take that. You're in the premium of the leg. So
It pulls back to beyond the to the premium of the leg, beyond the breaker structure, etc. Quite big. Is there anything on the 1 minute you could have shorted that off? Could short that now, to be fair.
I'm not looking to do it yet because news is coming up too, right? So let's maybe wait 15 minutes after. Yeah.
Go rewind and short that. Short that. Short it.
Okay, let's rewind for Sam.
I wanted to short.
We're gonna trade news for Sam on this one.
News, like what news is it? I said, you can't be scared of all the news. The news, like, it's all supply and demand, man. Like,
a lot of the times news works well too, right? So
news, well,
you have instances where, like, again, I think even Thursday or Friday there was that news.
Volatility, not direction, right? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't target low.
On the wrong side of it, that's all.
I'd target that. Yeah, I'd get to break even quick, and I'd just target that low, probably something like that, from what I can see. Just like a little quick in and out down to here, something like that.
Yeah, down to this level.
Yeah, something like that, mate. Because it is quite low down. I'd still be. Well, no, we might take out that 4 hour now, but I don't know. Yeah, keep it. See if we run the 4 hour. Partial it there.
You know what? Let's go back because I just realized we were using 0.5 lots instead of risk. So let me just rewind on that. We'll do that again. So yeah, this one does make sense to me. This is also a flip zone, right? It's a messy one. Again, I'm not gonna go into detail about it, but you guys can see it if you know what to look for, right? I believe that's where we shorted, right? So I can't remember. Now we built some liquidity here.
Yeah.
Skip ahead now.
You would have cleaned.
Okay, so yeah, this is where I would have probably TP'd, right? Or at least we'll take off like maybe 80% of it. And we're anticipating that. Here's a few things. There are like some conflicting things for me. The fact that we built liquidity here, we swept, and then we're like in a bullish overall like daily trend. And then on the 4 hour, when we look at it, I mean, even on the daily, liquidity sweep, potentially we're going to push down, right? So we're kind of like neutral in terms of like higher time frame bias, but obviously 15 minutes bearish, right? You guys can see that. This being our high and our low, we're pretty much in a complex pullback within this overall leg. So let's see if it continues down. Looks like we're building more liquidity. We might come sweep into this. But that's the nature of New York. It is very random. I feel like there isn't, the timing's not perfect on it. So you kind of got to be.
Partial down there.
Yeah, we partialed at 80. But I just want to see if it respects this. I think this is going to down though.
I think it will. I don't know. I think that'll get so it might come higher into that wick, you know.
Yeah, there are a lot of time frames on here. I wanted to include daily. I can't remember if I did it on the last one, but I want you guys to be aware of daily too, right? You can maybe take out 1 hour. We're not really using it much. I mean, what do you think, Sam? Should we stick to just 4 hour, 5, 15, 1?
Yeah, we can do, mate. I can work with that. I'd be nice.
I'll leave it open, but I'm gonna put it in the background then.
Yeah, we don't need daily. Just pull it up if we need to. We can work with 4, mate. 4 hour, 15 minute, 5 and 1.
So let me just rearrange it. There's 15. 15 will be up here and 5 on the left here.
And 4, yeah? Yeah, perfect.
All right, so we're like at the end of the day anyways for this one. So I'm going to skip to London again, but let's take a quick glance at higher time frame price action again. All right, if we're just looking at 4 hour. So again, Sam's idea of liquidity being built, sweep. I'm still waiting for like a major breaker structure. Like I want to see this low break to really be like convinced that we are going to do higher time frame like bearish price action. And then we can look for like swings potentially all the way down. But again, we're consolidating, right? I mean, you guys can see that we're in a range. I know we're like building liquidity sweeping, but that's the way that I'm seeing it anyways. So let's skip ahead to London or to Frankfurt Open, which is right here. Alrighty.
What time is this?
This is right at Frankfurt Open right now.
Oh, rewind a little bit.
Right.
All right, we're 15 minutes. So 15 minutes we've had the pullback. So we've broken 15
Broke
minutes.
structure here, right?
Right, we've had the pullback. The pullback style. We've created equal lows.
And then we're
Can
starting to
you just zoom out on the 1 minute quickly, mate?
so I see this is liquidity too, right?
Yeah, I would be looking for potentially this is 15 minute up here, right? So
Oh,
potentially,
sorry, yeah, this is 5 and this is 15. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, potentially tap into something up here, and then
Well, let's just investigate and see if this tapped into anything. This here, right? Or are you
Yeah.
saying you want to take it from here,
no, like more here.
right? Yeah.
This is right coming up to Frankfurt Open, right?
Tap into this, right? I'm not going to zoom into it, but I bet if you were to zoom into there, there's some demand zone that it kind of reacted off of, right?
Yeah.
And this technically very like subtly swept this liquidity here, right?
Yeah, and then it failed to.
And then it failed. Yeah. So that's potentially a high probability zone. Let's mark it. Let's see. And that's the same as your. There's actually a nested one. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Right. Again, it's messy, but you can see how that's nested. So what do you guys think? Should we take a risk entry on this? We can do it.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. See what happens.
Let's just do it. In worst case, if we get swept, because this is technically like there's 100% liquidity sitting above here, right? Even if we get swept, and we see it break structure down, then we can take a continuation. It's not a big deal, or it might not even come up to it. See.
It's just, no. Rewind. Short. Go back.
Short here.
This short.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, this is where that volume starts kicking in, right?
Yeah, so you just want to get involved, man.
Okay, let's try that one. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. I completely missed it.
As soon as you break that structure, you can go, okay, well, we're probably going to not sweep this right now, so we can take short-term shorts.
So let's actually play through it. I want to show you guys. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. This is Frankfurt Open, right?
It should be something.
What Sam is saying is to short this based on the reaction to this.
Trying to break a structure. The fact that this breaks structure here, we're bearish on all time frames now. I would be guessing that we're going to get a run down into something around here, something around the EQ of this whole range, right? We'll get a run and then we'll get the pullback back up to above here into this. That would be what I'm calling. Looking at.
I'm going to give it we'll give it 1.8 pips. I want to give it some buffer. Because again, I know what would keep me potentially out of this trade is this liquidity on the lower time frame and mid time frames, right? But it makes total sense, right? I don't think we got tagged in.
Yeah, lower. Oh, done. Well, just make it get tagged in. Take the EQ of the whole thing.
So the EQ of this last. Well, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't try to short the top thing anyway because it's bearish, right?
Yeah.
I would be either using a different time frame or just hitting market execute when it comes into it.
Yeah, that's true. That should tap us in. There we go. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I zoom into the price action? Yeah, absolutely. You can see a little bit better there, right? There's a demand, right? Creates a reaction, breaks through it. And then again, remember, every other time frame is pretty much telling us bearish, except for this is kind of, I mean, you can see we broke below this 4-hour zone that I had previously marked out, right? This is potentially one that we can hold for a while.
Mate, we're going to get a pullback now. Now we've broken a range of 4-hour structures, so we're going to get a big pullback up to here somewhere, up to this side.
I think so, yeah.
So I would have potentially, can you measure, hey mate, can you measure this range here?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to ask questions yet, or
Yeah. Of course, you guys can start if you want.
do you think you guys could like zoom in exactly where the breaker structure was on the 1 minute, or wherever y'all?
On the 1 minute,
Yeah, where y'all shorter from, basically.
well, you really get a substructure break more than anything here, right? And then this is our like I would say major 1 minute break, where I marked out the demand zone, right? Where it takes that out, that's the breaker structure I was waiting for, right? Because that then flips into a supply. We ran all the buyers out of the market, right?
Okay, all right.
I'm not
So you
sure
wanna-
if this is. I'm
Sorry,
not sure
sorry,
if
go
this
ahead.
is the wrong time for this question, but I know we're doing a training next week. I mean, on the 7th. But can you maybe explain that substructure break?
A
I
sub-
know that's very important. And I'm
Go
getting lost
over-
on that.
like so swing structure, right? Is this here is swing structure, right? The big stuff, right? So you get three types of structure. You get swing structure, which is the big stuff, right? You get minor structure, which is the little sort of stuff in the middle, but breaks like previous stuff in the legs, right? And then you get substructure, which is structure contained within two previous price points, basically.
So
Okay.
basically, think of your major high and your major low in a leg, right? Say we're in a bullish market. These are my major highs and lows, right? Anytime we start breaking like structure like this, that's all substructure is, right? Because I haven't yet broken this high or this low, this major high or low on the respective time frame I'm on, right? This could be a 15-minute, this could be on the 1 minute, right? Same with this. This is like pretty much the leg that we're looking at in this current price action, or this one, right? And then eventually, look, we break this swing low here. And then this would be a
Hey
substructure,
guys,
right? Because, right? Does that make sense?
wouldn't you say
Yeah,
it
it
would be
ma-
safer for us to wait for like this low to get broken? So we short, or like this one right here? Oh shoot.
Sorry, say that again.
Say that again.
Wouldn't y'all say like based on the 1 minute time frame, like wouldn't it be safer to wait for, let me try it out, for this one to get broken right here, this low? Hold on.
You've got to read like the whole story, right? Everything is bearish. Like
Oh,
literally
okay.
every time frame there is bearish, right? Like sells are going to be the high probability, right? You're combining it with session timing. You've swept all of this liquidity here. You've generated this liquidity on the way back up. You've generated this liquidity. You've broken through structure. Session timing is going to go one way or the other, right? We're about to break. Normally, right, you're not, if you're this close and you haven't already reacted up strongly, right? If this zone's going to react, it's going to react, right? It's not going to like sit there chilling, like it goes, right? Like on Friday, right? Like that, or Thursday, Friday, right? We had that whole range when we were reacting to that 4-hour POI on EU, right? If that range was going to push, that range would have pushed on Thursday. It doesn't, like price doesn't just sit there. If it's going, like look at that. Like, this is what you expect when you're going to see a reaction, right? Not price just sit there chilling around for ages and then not do anything. Right? Like it would have broken 15-minute structure. It would have done something like this, right? So when you've got everything in alignment, you're pretty safe to take trades, mate. Like for me, I always view it as like the order of importance, right, is order flow, like structure order flow, right? Higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, etc. Right? Then like supply and demand, these flip zones that we're going to start talking about soon, and then I view it as liquidity, right? So that's when you've got the first two on your side, you're generally good to go, basically.
And I was going to say as well, let me just add that these lows are weak as well. And once this fails to break this high, if you start getting bearish order flow on the 1M, you can assume that this low will be taken and then this low.
Oh, okay. After the sub, right? After the sub BOS.
Yeah, because it failed. This leg here failed to take out this like internal high.
Yeah.
Meaning this low is weak now. So even if it comes down to just below it and tag something in here, you've still got all of this move.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up for me.
So essentially with substructures, so let's say we're in a bullish trend and we're forming higher highs and lower highs, and let's say we're at the, higher highs and higher lows, and let's say we're at the higher low, and we'll look for substructure to break to pretty much show that we're continuing, we're producing the continuation that's going to create the higher high. And so we could buy the higher highs or the substructure breaks of the higher highs essentially up.
Are you talking about in a pullback scenario? I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, I'm talking about the pullback scenario. So we just create a higher high. Now we're pulling back to create the higher low. Let's say we formed a higher low. Will we then look? We'll go to lower time frames. Let's say we tapped into a 4-hour order block, and we'll go to lower time frames, and then we'll wait for that break. Essentially, that's going to be a substructure break.
Well, no. So I'm not sure I fully understand your question, but I think what Sam was kind of looking at now is because we broke, and again, I'm talking about like major structure here. Anytime we sweep liquidity like this and break structure, we can anticipate some sort of a pullback, right?
Got it.
I don't know if that answers your question. I know you're talking about substructure, but I don't fully understand what you mean.
Okay, so when we trade a break, let's say there's a break of structure to the upside, but it's not a major break of structure.
Yeah,
it's a substructure. Are those essentially breaks? Are those substructure breaks important because they essentially tell us that price is moving in the said direction that we're looking for it to go? So even though they're minor breaks on lower time frame, it shows us that it's going to eventually translate on a higher time frame.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. So say that we're kind of doing something like this. I would expect, again, this doesn't always have to happen. It really depends on what time frame you're looking at, what session. But normally we expect a pullback. It's healthy for price to pull back, right? So yeah, I mean, if I see substructure breaks, that's great. I mean, that's kind of what I'm expecting if we're in a downtrend like this, or in the the opposite scenario, if we're in a bullish type thing like this, right? And we're trending up, right? Anytime I see substructure breaks, yeah, I mean, I'm anticipating that we're potentially going to tap into either the extreme or somewhere in the discount, right, of this particular leg that we're in. And then we're going to continue up, right? So that makes sense.
To the discount to the EQ of that range, right? We're pretty close, right?
Yeah, we're just about at it.
Pretty heavy partials now. I'll probably close it now, to be honest.
Yeah.
EQ, because I would be expecting.
We'll close 80 of this one.
And then
that's off. I mean, we might as well hold it a little bit. I want to see if it. I mean, if we get taken out, whatever, it's fine. I want to see if it if we could potentially hold it for longer, right?
I would start getting low on this, mate.
So somebody was saying, oh, we missed another one here. I think you're correct, but for me, it's a little bit low down in the leg, right? Remember, if we're marking out equilibrium on this, that's potentially even if it does work, that is something that would filter me out of that trade. I think this is going to get swept, right?
Yeah, if we take that, I'd be looking potentially for long term. So now we've got that 15-minute.
So you would have got swept here, just saying.
You take a long off of this.
Yeah, we could. You want to explain why, Sam?
Well, I want to.
Now we're trading the pullback pretty much, right?
Now we're trading pullback, right? Now we've broken this low here, right? So now what we're expecting is a pullback into a better price on the 4-hour leg, right? So somewhere around the equilibrium of this leg, something like that, right? This is aggressive. This might well get taken out yet. But I would be guessing that now we've tapped into the EQ of this range. This is where I'd be anticipating the pullback from personally. Something around there. Here we broke structure.
Based off of the 4-hour leg here, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would be guessing that we're going to get a pretty strong rally to the upside at some point soon. So once we take this high, maybe, And this I'd be happy to say because we changed character here, right? We changed character, so really we should try it here, but this then reacts to over here, so we can try to take the continuation off there, basically.
Yeah, so people are asking, so are we in a supply zone? No, I think you mean demand zone.
Oh, it's a 4-hour pullback, mate.
It's a pullback. Yeah, there is no zone that we're playing off of. It's because we basically broke structure down and swept liquidity at the same time. So I think if we look at the daily too, I think this is a zone of demand, but
yeah, that's definitely
it
daily.
is. Yeah, I mean, I'll pull it up really quick so you guys can see it. Where's it? Daily.
Keep an eye on this. This breaks
It's messy, but
that, yeah, I mean, that's really nice on daily, mate. Full bodied, nice full bodied OB. Should force the pull back up to here. I would say we'll take out that little high there and tap into that zone we spoke about earlier because that's unmitigated. And I wouldn't
think where we
expect.
took partials is nice. And now
I
we're
would-
running low, by the way. So
I mean, I would have personally, I would have just closed it at the
close it, yeah.
like, because it's too low down the leg, right? Once the market's not just going to keep doing this, right? Like it can't. It has to now pull back up to mitigate something in here, so we can start looking for longs to take it up to there, to then take shorts down to run this low there, because this is the daily low that failed to break daily swing higher, right? So this low should now get taken.
We actually tapped into that zone again.
When there's a boss, kind of, it's a boss and a change of character is slightly different. So a boss is a break of major structure, right? Like a proper break of structure. A change of character is the first small break of structure. So the first time the market does something different, right? So here, we could have actually got long from down here, to be honest, because here we have this little change of character, right? But this isn't a break of structure. This is just a change of character, right? A break of structure would be a break of this high here.
Here, maybe redraw it out because I think it's shifted. Sam.
Yes. Can you go back a little bit?
You can actually take it if you want to. The only thing that I would personally stay, like the reason I would stay out of this is because it's out of our trading hours, but it is a good example of a change of character. So let's show them.
So here, right, we get, yeah, just keep going. I would take it from this, mate, personally. Here we get a little change of character, right? So we take a low, we aggressively take a high, right? But with the break of structure is here, right? We've swept liquidity, we've created equal highs up here, right? So now we can start saying, okay, well, at minimum, we should get a reaction up to take out these equal highs as we've broken higher time frame structure, right? We can anticipate that pullback now. Like shorts aren't a good idea anymore because we've broken 4-hour structure. We now need to wait for the pullback to start shorting 4-hour again. Right? Does everyone understand that? Or not? So yeah, if you rewind, mate, take it from there. So you can start being quite aggressive when you're tapping into like the EQ of a daily range or something like that. So Koch is a fight.
This is draw it out for you guys too, right? This is the change of character Sam is referring to, right? So
yeah,
take the low, take the high, right? And then we can aggressively start looking for longs based on the fact that, again, looking for a pullback, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, we're bearish on the 4-hour, but price can't continue bearish forever either, right? Like it has to pull back. It's healthy for it too. Right?
Exactly, like it has to pull back. It's what every single time you get a break of structure, you get a pullback, right? Like it's
all the bears taking profit. A lot of
the time. Basically, and it's just how markets work. They have to, they can't just keep running it down. Right? There'd be no one to buy from it or sell from it. You know what I mean? Huge page shift liquidity on 4 hours.
We're gonna do a 3-pip stop loss for you. Hopefully that's not too big.
What? No, that's fine, mate. Do that.
Pip stop.
I actually haven't been that ridiculous when I stopped this week. I've used sort of between 1 and 2 pips.
There's huge higher time frame liquidity on the 4-hour too, showing future bullish intent. Yeah.
Where's the 4-hour? What?
No, somebody was just saying that.
Oh, there's all this liquidity up here. Yeah, there's like here. We've got a bunch of liquidity to start with. This one you want to hold. Paul, what's this order? Is this the Selder room that's partial?
Yeah, this is the one that we partialed on. This short.
Yeah.
What's up, Walter? Although the reason we entered it is because of the change of character again, right? Remember, we're anticipating a pullback, right? So we're not necessarily tapping into a demand zone or whatever. We are tapping in, we are in a daily demand zone. Don't get me wrong, but the whole idea is because we've swept this liquidity now, right? Think of this as a bull trap too, right? Now that we swept this liquidity, really we can anticipate a pullback on the 4 hour. So that's the reason we took that long. It is a little bit stretching out of our like, actually, I think this was within our trading hours. This is right at like 10 a.m., wasn't it?
Is it trustable on M1? If you understand the whole story, yes, it's completely trustable on M1. Like if you understand the whole story, but you have to understand the whole story, right? Like it's not built off the M1. This is built off 4 hour, 15 minute, 1 hour.
But you can't neglect the higher time frames if that's what you're asking. Like absolutely not. I would always pay attention to that.
Like honestly, I know you guys see a lot of trades on the M1 and stuff like that, but the whole story is built from higher time frames. Every single time. If you sit on the 1M all day, you're just going to end up getting smashed around.
I'll skip ahead to New York for this. We're continuing to push up pretty heavy, right? It's like we swept that out.
Yeah, I think, mate, honestly, I think we're coming to take this, like at least.
This 15-minute, yeah. I was thinking this 4 hour here is potentially where I would
Sammy,
definitely take profit.
could I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, far away.
Yeah. So you know when you scale in on the 1 minute and you take trades on the 1 minute, right? It's like I'm a lower time frame trader most of the time. How did you get past like the confidence of like holding trades right out to the 4 hour objective?
Because I understand what's going on 4 hours.
And like the up and down of price during that time doesn't like mess with you.
Higher time frame intention will play out. Honestly, the market, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, they do not run the market. They just let us get in at good places, nice stop sizes, good risk reward, etc., etc., etc. Right? The higher time frames, right? Higher time frame structure, higher time frame order flow, etc., is literally what runs the market. Right, like this whole trade, this is not based off a 1 minute reversal. This is paying a 4 hour pullback, right? Like once we break structure on the 4 hour, I know, right, that 9 times out of 10 we are going to pull back up to something around the equilibrium of the leg. Right, it happens every single time. Go and measure any 4 hour leg of price, and 9 times out of 10, once you break structure, you pull back to somewhere around the equilibrium.
Thanks a lot, bro. That makes a lot of sense, and it kind of cleared up some stuff.
No worries, man. No worries. This is all a bit messy. This is horrible. State that.
Yeah, so Sam, I think we were looking at the same area, right? I was looking at it as the 4 hour. You're looking at it as this 15-minute area here, right? Which is
what, to take partial. Honestly, I think come back up to the EQ bit.
Yeah, you think so? Let's see. Yeah, I would definitely take partials, if not like close out the whole trade, right?
Yeah, I would definitely, mate, we're in such a good position here. You know, I would more be looking for hedges, if anything, personally.
You can look for an intraday hedge for sure.
We could have got that off, because that looks like it just ran all of this liquidity here. But
yeah, let's take a look at it.
But I reckon that I think that'll pop now. So we could take that, being aggressive, just with a slightly wider stop.
Let's just see.
Right,
so
yeah, that's just come into that little range at the bottom. It's taken.
I don't think I would take this one necessarily, but let's try it. Why not?
Just give it a little bit of a bigger stop.
This one's pretty aggressive, yeah.
It's pro construction.
It did, yeah. To be sure.
No, I'm fully confident in it, mate. That's all. I'd rather try and get a couple of positions because this.
Yeah, well, it's a good hedge too, right? Or it's sorry, it's not even a hedge, it's a scaling of this of longs, right? Yeah, look at that, it's pretty good. I'd be more keen to take potentially this retest, right? And again, we also have like this liquidity here. Actually, I think I have marked out this level.
No shit, that worked.
Pretty nice. Okay, this is where I would take partials personally. So I'm going to take off half, Sam.
Yeah, take off
on the original one at least, right? Or maybe
Yeah,
we could do it on.
half both, mate, to be honest, and then just leave them to run.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
You've made some decent bank there, no?
So I think partials on that one. Okay, here we go. 50% of this. All right, let's see what happens. This is pretty good.
Sign your profile, please. What, mate?
What's that?
She's asking me to sign his profile or something. Top right is M15, yes.
Once your autograph. Okay, looks like we're starting to potentially react off this. Let's see if we like break 5-minute structure. Like I want to see a proper break though. Like give me a swing low and then break below, and then
Yeah, I think
potentially we could look for continuation shorts off this 4-hour. But we'll see, right? There's obviously a chance that we run it completely and we switch to bullish. Like that can happen.
yeah, it could. We are we are reacting off daily demand. I would guess that it's gonna run up personally.
I want to see your dog, Sam.
You can't see my dog. It's my dog. Brandon's got a nice dog as well. Secret sauce dog. Yeah, the dog gives me signals. When the dog barks, I
Hey, look, looks like we tapped into this, right? Starting to break potential 5-minute structure. Let's see. Dog is actually a robot. Yes, Sam's dog is the Boston Dynamics robot.
yeah.
Dog.
Yeah.
What type of dog you got, Sam?
It's Labradoodle, mate.
Oh, precious. How precious.
Okay, so I wouldn't really be looking for trades here anymore because we're starting to approach a London close.
Yeah.
And we're consolidating pretty heavily. But I think if this develops into something in London, potentially for a short, and we don't have like Asia, like Ranger or anything to use as reference. I don't have an indicator for it. Somebody sent me one, but oh look, there we go. We broke above. So look,
Yeah.
if we now close bullish above this 4-hour drop base drop, I'm bullish now, because now we have this whole confluence between this being a sweep of overall higher time frame liquidity, and then our break structure above this zone. Like, I mean, you can see every other time frame is bullish here too, right? So I think, Sam, you would have taken some sort of aggressive long out of this consolidation. I wouldn't have personally. I mean, I don't know. Would you have? It's late in the day too, right? In New York, so you could have taken.
I was just saying
like
that. Then I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have looked to short that though personally.
Yeah, this one.
It's
Well,
just so
I wanted to
correct.
wait for like a major
Content,
like
right?
5-minute break, right? If we started breaking like this 5-minute
you got that
structure
right.
here, then we could look for shorts, but instead we ended up running the high. So this would have kept me out of longs though, right? This liquidity here, and then the fact that it's consolidating, it's late in the day. So let's push it the next day. Again, we don't want to force trades, right? Like,
I have to. No, just leave it, man.
oh no, we're
Should've-
outside of trading hours, so I'm gonna push it. We can observe it though, right? Like it looks like our long is really working really, really well. Our 2 longs, and we're half scaled out of it too, right? So
Yeah, that's fine. How much?
This
How much
is,
have we made? How much?
we made about 40 R so far.
Nice.
40 times our risk, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so here is Frankfurt open, 15 minutes before Frankfurt open. All right, so let's analyze this again. Looks like we've consolidated during Asia, right? I'm not going to draw the exact Asia range out, but you guys can see that here, right?
Something.
We're in a higher time frame.
Can you, on the 15-minute, can you zoom out a little bit?
Let me just mark this out real quick. Just want to show people. We're now in a counter trend 4-hour zone, right? But I think this is going to get run as well. I think Sam's right about it. Or, again, look at the overall higher time frame picture, right? Swept liquidity, broke structure up. It's very likely we're going to continue in a bullish faction from here, right? Price doesn't have to react off of this necessarily, or it could react off this higher one, right? Because this is also structural liquidity in a way. 15. You want me to zoom out on that? Let's see.
Zoom out on the 15.
Let's take a look at it.
Well, it's so hard to see on this fucking platform. This looks like an hourly OB or something, I would guess. So I would be looking here, because you see how we built all this liquidity here and here, and now we're sweeping this. So I'd be looking for a little, get like hit market. This is Frankfurt Open, right? Hit market execute.
This is Frankfurt Open, yep.
Market
longs,
execute.
right?
Market execute that.
Let me just see something. So you guys see this? This is what Sam is on about right now. All right, let's do it. I'll cover the low.
I'll give you fucking imbalance, Walt.
Hopefully you have enough margin for this. Look, we've also built liquidity and swept it, right? Look at that, guys. Hope this one works. I actually think it will work.
Yeah, she's still in here.
Wow, look at that.
But don't target TP this. Like if we run this high here, get out.
Yeah.
Reaction and a half. Man.
Oh my god, we just tapped it. Come on. All right. This is where I'd probably take.
Close everything.
Let's see if we get like a.
Close it all.
Yeah, you want to just close it? All of them?
Close it all. Close it all. Close it all. Close everything.
Yeah, now it looks like. So it's the same thing. I think like Blackwatch made a video on this too, right? I just want to quickly explain something. And then we'll let Aaron give his input too, because I think he has something to say. Look, every time you run these highs, right? We're anticipating we're gonna get a pullback. Really, we're looking for another pullback, right? Because we've swept this liquidity out, right? There's our sweep, pullback, right? And then maybe we'll break above or we'll push down like this, right? So anything can happen. We'll play it based on what's happening, right? Try to react to what's happening. Aaron, did you have something to say?
I had nothing to say. Just it was more so just the area that we've come in now.
Yeah.
It's just this massive switch show.
Right, because it reacted off.
But I'm not going to have my input because I remember this price action. So
there's London Open. Again, I wouldn't be looking for shorts or anything yet, probably. So we're kind of like low in the leg, but let's see. Kind of missed the London move there. I don't even think there really was much of an entry. Again, let's look at this as our leg for a second. I'll explain why. Right, there is an entry here, right? You guys can see it's pretty clear, but it's in the discount. So I'm not trying to short in the discount, even if it works. And it looks like it's probably going to get swept anyways. So on the other hand, I would take this if it came back to it potentially, right? Market timing aligns.
Is there a bullet?
Oh, there might be. Okay, looks like we retested the extreme there. So again, what's the reason I didn't enter on this one? I said I wanted to enter in. It's the timing, right? Look where we are in the session. I wouldn't even be on the computer. I only want to trade like, actually, I'd probably be on the computer. I'd just be hesitant to enter a trade like this late. It's not that it's late, but it's just late in like that 3 hour zone that we typically trade, right? London kills on an hour before. So Frankfurt open to about an hour or an hour or two after London open, 8 BST. Okay, let's see if we
Also,
start this thing.
typically as well as like noticed how heavily bullish we've been like previously.
Yeah.
I'd be waiting for a 5-minute DCE. That avoids getting dicked like this.
Yeah. So let's skip ahead to New York a little bit then. And we have news too. What is this one? Oh, that's pound. It's not really relevant to us. Put it to euro dollar here. Okay. Okay, so again, New York, we're gonna be patient about it. See if anything nice here. Like Aaron said, we swept this and we swept liquidity again. It's kind of like a fake liquidity sweep. We even produced like a reaction off of it, which is kind of funny, but now it looks like we're shifting pretty bearish. Right? I don't really see any potential entries we could have taken. Like momentum's just too high here. It's like potentially on the 1 minute we could have, but we're gonna wait a little bit. Let's clear this out. So looking at 15-minute, I still want to mark out all of these zones to see if we are going to produce reactions or not. Because if we do, then we can potentially form like a trade, an intraday trade idea off of it, right? Again, if you guys want, mark out zones you want to take. I'm happy to take it and we can investigate and see what happens. Just use the box tool. Let you guys run it a little bit. This 1 minute zone here. Again, it looks like we're in the discount of this overall like 5-minute leg. So be careful of that, but potentially we could take continuation short from here, right? I know we're playing the pullback, but we might be able to squeeze something out of it. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, that one, exactly. This here. Reacted off of that. It's a little aggressive. Did build like nice liquidity here though, in the 1 minute. Let me set the limit on that one. Let's see. What do you think, Sam? Like that zone? Sam fell asleep. Yeah, and there's this zone up here, which is actually in the.
Like halfway trying to cook dinner.
It's all good.
Yeah, sure. Oh, nice. That 15-minute thing there.
This one?
Uh,
Oh, that's a 5. Sorry. Let me zoom in on the 15. Sorry, I know it's a little bit hard to see.
yeah, that one you've got marked. Yeah, now you've got it marked already, mate. The high one, yeah. Yeah.
So let's see if we do. The only thing I don't like about it is obviously we have to break 5-minute structure up to get it, right? But
Yeah, we can just trade the reaction, right?
yeah, I want to show you guys. I mean, you can take losses like this, and like in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we can afford.
lost.
Now,
we can afford to take
Rob,
that, right?
Rob, now you've swept the low into this demand area
Yeah.
and calls like that 1 minute shift. I'd be looking for a counter trend long.
Or we can try that too. Let's do it.
We're in a nice
I'm guessing you want
15
to do it
minute.
off of here, right?
I haven't actually looked, to be honest.
Or higher up, like this one. Even now, we could smash market on it, right?
Yeah, something can
Have
happen.
with that. Yeah, okay. Let's try it. Let's try to take you through it because it's kind of a big
Joseph,
spot.
what's the stop?
It's like 6 pips almost. I think we ended up tapping. Did we tap into this? Let's see. Yeah, Looks like we tapped
So,
in.
because now again, right, we've broken 15-minute structure here,
Mhm.
right? This low. So now you would anticipate the pullback to above that level, right? Above the break structure. So somewhere in here.
And we're in the at the
You always pull back into, or you don't always, but 9 times out of 10, you pull back to above the area where the break comes from. So this zone here, this 15-minute zone is really nice. And then hold that one to hell, mate.
Don't think it wants to play ball. Just kind of consolidating. I
Yeah,
think
that
that's right. Might just. Let's see if this gets swept. I really don't know. Let's see. Okay. So far, Aaron's traded.
filled on that.
There you go.
What an entry.
No worries, boys.
Hashtag never wrong.
He knows what he's doing.
Look at that. That's disgusting. That's going to push as well now. Nice 5-minute engulfing. Bosh, 5-minute high goes next.
So for the sake of this, Aaron, do you want to explain why you wanted to take this? I know, so like, I guess I'll start off by saying we marked out our 15-minute zone here, right?
Yeah, so what I do is I basically mark on reaction points. Like I call my supply and demand areas reaction points, and all I'm looking is what type of reaction I get from them. This caused a major BOS here.
Right.
Price has come into it. We formed a low. It's pushed up. It swept that low and then formed an M1 change of character.
Yep.
For me, that is go-to setup. Like as soon as it comes into a demand, then it does an M1 chock.
And here's your change of character, right? We're sweep here.
Yeah, to be honest, it didn't really break the low. So I didn't close below it, but this happened, I think, this week as well. Maybe not on 1M, but on I think it was a 5-minute. It done the same thing. It just swept the low, and then chopped, and it happens quite a lot.
It happens all the time, man.
Yeah, and even if you play it just into something here, it's fine.
That's quick 1-5, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, bro. Take your money and run.
Because it's the reaction, like the aggressiveness after taking that liquidity in that supply demand area. So
that makes sense. I think like chalks are inherently harder to recognize when you're like near at it. Even I struggle to see them sometimes on like the lower time frames. I won't lie, but and it's a practicing. You guys will get it with time, right? I think there's plenty of examples Albert's posted in Phantom Resources too. But that is quite the trade. Look at that, Aaron. It's running. Now we're tapping into 5-minute, which is also a 15-minute doji.
yeah, I'd be taking profit now, to be honest.
Yeah. So
Well, at least partially.
Yeah, now if we get another little thingy.
Yeah, and then it's the exact same thing. You've got a reaction point or a supply error, and as soon as you see a drop, I'm getting involved.
So let's see if we can spot the chalk on this one. Even though we're late in the day.
Getting involved in the start, right? Can we see a change of character because we are in that supply?
Sorry, say that again, Wando. Your mic's kind of muffled.
Oh, sorry. I say y'all saying y'all would just wait to see a change of character, right? And then y'all would get in because we're in that supply, right? Okay, I got you.
Now we've seen that change of character. Now I'd be looking to short that.
Short it, yeah. And I'll just mark it out for you guys so you can see it too. It is pretty. Actually, you know what? Before I mark it out, I want you guys to try to mark it out. Everybody, mark out where you think the chalk is in this 1-minute price action here. You can use the pen tool, whatever. Right, and where's the high?
The high is just low, right?
Yeah. So I'll show you the way that I see it, anyways, is this, right, and then.
Yeah, totally agree.
So now we can look for shorts based on that, right? And plus we tap into our 15-minute doji, 5-minute supply, right? And this is all kind of like coming off of this 4-hour reaction too. So we're playing within this leg here, right? So let's see. Where would I short it? there are a couple places we could actually take this.
Okay.
Here, right? And then there's the extreme, which is also a nice flipperino zone.
Yeah, you do have equal highs.
But we do have equal highs. That's correct.
Are those little? Is that doji equal? Are they like symmetrical?
Which doji?
It's a nice 5 minute as well, though, isn't it? That little
Right,
whip.
which one are you talking about? These?
Hold on. This little doji here, is this equal height? Fucking hate.
Just barely. It's like a tick higher.
I'm potentially short that, I think.
Sorry, which one? Yeah, I would. That's the one that I'm looking at too, right? I think with EU, you can take these decisional ones a lot more than like you can on like GU, for example, right? I haven't traded really GU in a while though, the past few weeks. So. We're building liquidity. Let's see.
So
we're actually,
if you take a sell this late in the session.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, we're out of trading hours here, but I don't know, let's see if it works.
Sometimes if you need to read, sometimes it's worth being in the market, right? It's going to tap into that and go, it's going to tap into a little sponsor candle up there.
Let's whatever, we can market short this too. But again, I wanna like give you guys a disclaimer, like, have set hours and don't trade out of them. Like, stick to your rules or whatever. Even if this works, right? Pretend this happened in session, then like great. Otherwise, I mean, it is working out pretty well too.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes for
Otherwise,
me,
it's gonna hurt your consistency.
The market isn't going to be like, occasionally there's times where I break my trading hours, right? Like this, to me, I would be expecting this to be the 4 hour lower high. So I would 100% trade it from there. Like I wouldn't necessarily care about my trading hours at that point in time. I'd just say, do you know what? Like, it's potentially the 4 hour lower high. I'm happy to take it because I know that trade, you know, like when we're looking at this, I'm looking for this. If like from memory, EU here on weekly, we've got an awfully long way to go down to the discount of the leg. So yeah, would you guys say that the 4 and 15 minute legs are great to play with terms of pullbacks and premium discount and stuff? Yeah, well, I don't really use 1 hour, mate. Personally, I know quite a lot of the team don't really use 1 hour. You don't either, do you?
The only place that I use 1 hour is when 4 hour is consolidating so tightly that they're like overlapping. Look at that, Sam. This trade worked out really well. Eh? You would have had to hold through spread hours, and it's like kind of close. I think we were running like 3-4 hour, but now we're running 10 hour on that, so that's pretty good. No, I'm just gonna. I don't know. Should we hold this? I'm just thinking.
That's going to help. Like that's taking out that low to the left on 4 hour.
Yeah, there's no like. I'm just looking from a perspective of like mid time frame. 15 and 5, like there are no like super clean zones now, because we've tapped into this. Is now a weak like demand zone, right? So we can expect that's probably gonna get taken out too.
Yes. Now we're playing. Now we're trending on 4 hour, right?
Yeah.
This is the expectation now that we do this, right? And then break this structure, and then we'll pull back up to something in here, and then we'll short again, and then we'll continue to do that until we break 4 hour structure up, and then we'll go up. Basically.
Yep.
Oh,
let's skip it to
yeah, that's great.
New York. Asia's consolidating, nice like that.
Oh, this looks nice.
Oh, sorry, not New York, Frankfurt. So here's Frankfurt open.
Short that. Yeah. That.
Short this.
Short that.
Okay, before we go into like just shorting off 1 minute, let's explain it, right? So everybody understands from top to bottom.
Right.
Right.
Top bottom, 4 hour is looking very, very, very bearish, right? We have a weak over here that we can look to target straight away. Right, we've just swept this structural liquidity. We swept all of this liquidity. We have this.
Happened to this 4 hour.
Here that I would be saying on daily is weak because this daily fails to break and close above the swing high. Right, so I'd be looking to take out that low with any shorts that I get. We're trending really nicely on the 15 minute now, right? We had another change of character up here, took the low, took the high. Right, we're just creating a bunch of liquidity here. right? This push up has no aggression. It's constantly running buy side liquidity here, right? This over here takes out liquidity to the left and creates a break of structure to the downside, right? We have inducement in the leg, we have inducement here, we have liquidity here to target, right? All the time frames are agreeing with our structural bias at the moment. Everything is bearish, right? So, yeah. We can trade it as a continuation, but I'd be happy to take that as a limit personally.
I think we can also look at it from the perspective of like, look, we built liquidity. If we just follow the mitigations, right? I just want to try and pair like all of the concepts together for everybody, so you guys can learn something from it, right? So following the 5-minute mitigations, right? Yeah, we are consolidating, but again, we're bearish based on higher time frame, right? So that's why we're looking for a short, and we can be pretty aggressive with it being Frankfurt. We don't have to wait necessarily for a sweep or whatever. There's usually going to be a pretty like aggressive but like very volatile move that happens an hour before London sometimes, right? Like more often than not, there is that move that occurs. And then if we look at 1 minute, I'm just going to break down the lower time frame a little bit for you guys here. We have this liquidity, right? Yeah, we break structure. I mean, we're pushing down. There's a lot of intent in and around this area, right? After we've consolidated. I believe this is like spread hours from the day before. We have Asia, and then sweep liquidity. We build more liquidity, as Sam said, right? So that's all inducement theory, right? We got this, all of these highs. And then honestly, we even have like a change of character here. Wouldn't you say, Sam? Like if I zoom in on this, let me.
Yeah, I mean, I would have shorted the EQ of that, I reckon.
Of that, yeah.
But yeah,
well,
I mean,
we'll take a market from here, but I was going to say, so look, take the high, right? And then we sort of take this low here. So that's a change of character. Remember, we're coming from like 1 minute bullish structure, right? So when I see this change of character, then we can start looking for,
right? This is all way too early. This is all like, I wouldn't never trade personally. I'd never trade before Frankfurt open. I would trade after London close, like that short from the 15-minute. I personally,
we really shouldn't have taken that. That's the truth on that one, because it's out of session, right? Same with I mean, trading before Frankfurt, like that's a hard rule, I think, for me, Sam, Albert, like everybody on the team. Pretty much, we follow that rule.
I must admit, I break that rule sometimes.
5 minutes.
There you go, Aaron. Yeah, but how many minutes?
I took the past couple of weeks because I've been waking up stupidly early. I've been taking trades at like 5 a.m.
So there we go, market. Let's see if this works.
Market, and you caught the top. Watch this.
Yeah, you like that?
We want to get short on this again. Then. Wait to see though. We've got those little equal highs. See if it runs the high.
And I just want to mark this out, right? Again, liquidity. Again, this could get swept too, right? So like, I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet if we investigate what this tapped into, probably tapped into something to the left. Let's quickly check.
We'll you can rewatch the recording to see the explanation. Basically, everything's bearish. We swept liquidity and we have liquidity to target.
There you go. Look. All right, does that make sense to you guys? Let me look at the chat.
Someone else, if we can re-explain it.
Makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, you can rewatch the recording.
What do we want to short? Stop, down everyone.
Oh, sorry. I was reading the chat. What
can I ask a quick question here?
What's up, man?
Yeah. So I think something that I would have done in the past, let me draw something on here.
Sure.
But something that I've learned through session timing is that in the past, I may have looked for, let's see, that POI there, that entire point of interest, that would have seen imbalance.
Right.
Let's see.
Which one, sorry, man?
He's saying this one on the 15, right?
Yep. So I would see that entire push up and I would look for an EQ there. And I would see all this, right, as inducement. And then I would be waiting for that push up. But since I've learned about session timing and then putting all these time frames together, waiting for that change on the smaller time frame and realizing that when you're in a certain session, you're going to have volume kick in whenever everything aligns. So session timing really filters out that, all that up there, correct?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like the way you would look at it, huh?
Yeah, the other thing is, right, is there's nothing significant in here. Right, like this is where the break of structure comes from, is this, right? Nothing in this breaks any structure.
Right.
So
Yeah.
okay, there's imbalance, but imbalance, like there's imbalance from 2004.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Yeah.
But also, look, you took out all the buyers in the market too, right? So like everybody who is long here, like bye, you're gone. Stop losses hit.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's a good point. And I think if you guys don't use like session timing, remember, volume creates volatility, right? And you have all this money flowing into the market, like obviously expect price is going to move one way or the other, right? It's not just going to consolidate. And that's the reason Asia is pretty like low volatility. There's not as much money moving through the market. So, oh, what did we miss? Sorry. So I think, Sam, you were saying, yeah, this short here, right? So let's quickly break this one down too, because I think this is a pretty good example. It's kind of subtle, right?
Yeah. So here we break structure, right?
Yeah.
So then we break structure again. So we have a lower high in the market, right? But this creates equal highs. Right, again, session time and all these lows are weak, right? We have like weak lows over here, this low is weak, etc. From the higher time frame perspective, here we have these equal lows to target, right? This fails to close above, so we get no new higher high, right? So then we break again here, so we get another lower high, right? This here is arguable whether you take this or this, but this is too consolidated. This is like the sweep, right? And then the range. So I would be shorting that personally.
Yeah.
That's what looks right to me. 5M B peak. What? 5M is peak. Is that Aaron right now?
Huh? Oh, no, sorry, break. No, that was me.
No, it isn't me.
And then we get another 5M break, so we can short the 5M finger punch.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we closed yet, but I was more so looking at this break, right? I was just mentioning how your 1 minute break is also a 5 minute break. So
Yeah.
it's an important thing that you guys like should pay attention to, even though it's kind of hard to read it. I know it's 5 minute looks like it's just a mess, right? If you don't have experience reading it, but look, this is our low, right? That makes total sense.
Exactly what we do.
Taking the decision off of it, we've swept liquidity, and then
we just
again, it's a cheap character, right? Like, so I'm gonna set a limit at that level. And it's good because I saw a lot of you guys marking it out too, so it's clear you understand why we're getting into it. Oh no, we're out of margin.
Oh no, man.
Not again. Okay, we'll do 0.25. Let's see if it lets us in on that. I gotta change it so we have unlimited leverage for these.
Yeah.
End up taking too many. I'm gonna give it a wide stop. We'll do like 4 pips, 0.25%. Yeah.
Sure.
We got Wyckoff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that as well.
What's your leverage here?
What's that?
What's the leverage for the backtesting session?
We want.
So this one I set 1 to 100. I just do like FTMO, basically an FTMO.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I see it's this guy's scribbling on the screen. Okay, let's rewind a bit. We'll break down that one too, because that is a good scaling.
Yeah. So again, this is it's just structure again, right? Like it's just another break of structure. This is what breaks structure. The market's trending. You lower highs. It's really simple. Like so, this is as a quick scaling, like quick go and hit like 1 to 5, 1 to 10, something like that, depending on your stop size, right? It's just a really clean little trade.
It's the EQ of this leg too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're pretty loose about like how we define legs. You know, like there is no like hard and fast rule for this, but like, you know, I'll draw what makes sense to me in current price action, and then again, like I'm gonna try to avoid, you know, taking a short at the discount, right? I always want to wait for a pullback to get in, because otherwise you're gonna become liquidity and you're gonna get taken out by the pullback, right? So see if we can get into this one too, if it's gonna let us. No, it doesn't let us. It's too bad. Okay, you know what? Because I really want to like show you guys. I'll take partials on maybe a couple of these guys here. We'll just plus 50.
Take like 25% off all of them or something, right?
Yeah.
How many trades have we got? Oh, three, 4.
Yeah. It's a bit much, but all right, our limit's on. Let's see if it tags us. There we go. FTMO does have commission per lot. I think it's $3 US per lot round trip. I don't remember.
We get filled on that now.
Yeah, we're filled. Yeah.
Keep an eye on that for later as well. What that wick on the 5 minute? Keep an eye on
Which one? This one?
This one here.
Yeah, which is this wick, right?
Keep an eye on that for later on.
So that kind of speaks to the thing I was talking about before. I remember like I was showing you guys an example on the 1 minute of a wick, which would be like whatever, a 15 or 30-second thing. So it's the same deal with this, right? This 5 minute wick is inevitably an actual demand zone, or sorry, supply zone on the 1 minute, right?
Yeah,
That's
don't
what this
target
is.
these at the floor either, mate. Like, get out of these soon. I'll be back in 2 seconds, but don't.
Yeah, no worries. I'm good to hold it a little bit longer because remember, like, maybe not the ones where we like recently scaled in, but definitely like the original short that we'd taken. Because we're expecting that this is not going to get taken out exactly. There's a lot of structural liquidity sitting at this point right here. So, let's see. And we're just about to hit London lull too. So either we're going to consolidate and come up or whatever, right? So we can take partials on this, but I'm just going to hold it for now. I'm going to hold it through London lull and we'll wait till New York to decide how we're going to manage it. Spread's good for FTMO. Yeah, it's pretty decent for EU. Yeah, any major pair actually, I feel like it's pretty decent. I think it's higher on GU. And then NU, like any of those like major pairs that they have like any foreign or like an APAC currency attached to it, they have, I think, higher spreads. I don't know about UJ though. I don't think many of us trade UJ anymore.
Into the wick, 50%. If a wick's not mitigated to EQ, then honestly, a lot of the time it's coming back to that wick. Did you partial with these or not?
No, I didn't. So let's see. I came right to that zone that you mentioned, Sam. So either we can scale into this on market, or I mean, what do you think?
Look, this is
we're already in it, right? It's just obviously we didn't take anything off.
Highs now, right? You see? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is creating equal highs to mitigate this later.
Let's see.
So I think that will go and take these lows at some point now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I want to hold it, right?
I would be getting out of these trades. Later on, Aaron, mate.
Later, Aaron.
See you later, boys. And
Take it
girls.
easy, man.
Have a good weekend. Speak to you soon.
Take care. That's good. This looks like it's potentially gonna hold.
Take these off. I'd close.
Except close the lower ones. I mean,
close all of these bottom 3. If we take this low, just close all those bottom 3. Then we'll look to try and short that later on.
So you're saying wait till we take this low?
I would guess.
Or you want to close it now? You're saying?
I think the low is going to go. The low should, because we haven't broken any structures.
I think we'll be okay, honestly, to hold these shorts. We just got retested, so I mean, it's good that we didn't set break even on that. Like, I don't like setting break even because of situations like this.
So at least it's like this trade and this trade. This top one should be all right.
Yeah.
I guess if it's going to continue bearish, it's going to continue off that way.
I do think though, when we do eventually sweep this, because we've now formed equal lows, that's where I would look to take partials once we sweep it, because then we can anticipate a pullback, and we don't know if it's going to come up higher, right?
So exactly. Right now, it's in a little bit of a. It's a bit messy, isn't it?
All right, I know you guys are marking out, there were a bunch of like CLNs, definitely, but the fact that we're in,
We don't have
I'll take a couple of these aggressive scalings if you guys want. Let's try it.
You don't have margin. Don't you?
Let's see if we have margin. I don't know, but also equal highs, right? I don't know what's going to necessarily work here. There was a really nice one up here though, and this was in and around like I think New York or an hour before New York open. So this was a good trade for those of you that like pointed that out. I like that, right? Because it's all happening kind of after this 1 minute sweep too, right? And our retest of the original short that we took previously. So this one's aggressive for those of you that marked it out. So if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Unless you were talking about shorting right off of this. I don't know. Even that's aggressive for me. Okay, we're building some equal highs. Let's see if we can sweep it. Yep. There you go. It's pretty good. It's a good thing we left buffer there. Oh, there you go. Worked.
No, you
Good job,
changed.
guys.
So you should now run the low.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, might run the high first before.
Not run the high, no. Just keep it going. Keep it going. See what it does. Whoa. So close.
So it looked like it worked very
Yeah.
briefly, but again, it's like the equal highs, right, guys? And then we're like, it's not even that we're like in the discount of the leg either on a short. It just
Like this, honestly, is not worth trading, right? Like, just wait for the
was
market.
very
to-
messy.
Yeah, you see how it's breaking lows, breaking highs, breaking lows, breaking highs, breaking lows. Just sit out. Like, honestly, save your money, right? Trading is all.
It's all
risk
risk management too. Like
Trading
there's
is
a
business.
reason, like, you know, I was telling you guys before, right? Where whenever I see like, again, something in the discount and, you know, we're in a bearish market, like even if I'm not taking it, like there's a reason I'm not taking it. It's okay. Like that Sam takes it, whatever. It's a little bit different the way he trades. Like we trade differently from each other. I'm a little bit more conservative when it comes to taking like aggressive trades like that, right? Like I'm happy to take one trade a day. So we're going to close. Yeah, because look, we swept this now, right? So now this is where we're anticipating the pullback, as I mentioned before, right? We built this liquidity, we swept it. Now we can anticipate a pullback, and we're getting to the end of the day anyways, so might as well close these.
Should we look for a change of character on the 1 minute to write it up?
Yeah,
You could, yeah. But let's look at the 15-minute first, right? Like
Now, I would be saying, personally, what I'd be saying is, you know, that wick we spoke about earlier?
Yeah.
This one, I think.
Yeah, it was one of these, yeah.
Yeah, can you just go on the 1 minute, go back to that area quickly?
Might be tough, but let's try it. Let me see if I can.
Just zoom out on 1 minute. 'Cause there was a sponsor candle there, no? Yeah, that.
Oh, it would have been. Oh, I just make sure. I want to make sure it's the correct one, right?
This one here.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
messy.
This short the EQ of this.
Well, this sponsored candle, you're saying?
That's sponsor candle, yeah. Short the EQ of that.
Of this one? Okay. Let's do it. As for longs though, yeah, I mean, we can, I'll show you guys where I would take it. We're going to leave a limit on here. We're at the end of this New York session anyway, so let's skip to the next day, but I'm going to set the EQ on this for Sam. And then, you know, even if we get a change of character now, like I just want to mention this, right? We're tapping into a demand zone, right? Rally, base, rally, right? Built liquidity, whatever. We're built even more liquidity here. We've swept it, which I mentioned on the 5 minute, right? So if we see a 1 minute change of character, if we were in London and I saw that happen, then yeah, I would look to take like a long off of that. But otherwise, because we're this late in the day, I'm not going to look to take longs, even if it works out. It does look like it is going to push up to the area that Sam has the limit on, or that we set the limit on for. I like using limit entries for the most part, but
Mainly I use limits, but I do use.
I use markets sometimes too. Again, remember guys, we're like coming to the end of London session. Don't want to necessarily be putting trades on now.
No, just leave that limit.
11:30 Eastern, yeah. Like,
don't take my limit off, you fuck.
No, I didn't. Look at that. So there you go. There's a end of the day trade. Sam calls that. It's pretty accurate. That's a risk entry. I would not take that personally, but good call.
Now let's see what happens.
And we have news too.
News? What news?
Well, it didn't do anything, but Powell was talking. Just the Fed.
Short that.
Short that? This one makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. This is where we're kind of stretching it a little bit. Like we're like at, what is this?
We're late in session, but
Yeah,
it's nice.
11:16. Yeah.
Trade the news.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
For your sponsor counters or like the order blocks, I thought you like engulfed.
I do, mate, but that one just looked too nice. That would have been engulfed on like the 2 minute or something like that, right?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
have information that would have been engulfed on another time frame. I'm just giving it a bit of rope because we're on sim, right?
All right. Okay.
There we go. I love trades like that.
That's crazy. That's a crazy trade.
Robert, you
Personally, I
think
would
to
have
show a
taken
little
the
bit more of
retest.
the 5 minute?
Yeah, sorry. Here.
That'll take out the loan.
Reverse. So the fact that we moved this far away from it, I'd be happy to like hold this overnight.
Yeah.
This is on a Thursday, so
Definitely target that.
skip. Yeah, that 4 hour low. It's just melting.
Oh yeah.
Probably hold this. Jeez, that's crazy.
How much does that run?
A lot. Oh,
And to
man.
be fair, the risk entry was risky there, but you know, it's the only that was really.
I
like,
would honestly TP at Frankfurt Open on this one because now I'm gonna anticipate
a pullback.
prices potentially
No,
gonna pull
you
back.
can anticipate a pullback. Yeah, yeah. Take them off it. I mean, you've made enough fucking money on them anyway, right?
Yeah. Made a lot on that.
So
And,
that
like, the lot sizes aren't even huge either, right? Like I'm only doing 0.25% for these. I forgot to put it back to 0.5. So
that should take that 4 hour low before it pulls back. Now,
yeah. But
Sam,
here's,
is the
here's what I'm
short north
anticipating
trade-
though, Sam. What I think is going to happen, I could be wrong, is at Frankfurt, we're going to get the sweep and then London volatility is going to kick in, right? London and Frankfurt volatility, and we're going to go the opposite direction. So you potentially look for a long here. And we are in a 4 hour demand zone now, right? So that's the other thing that could happen if you could just straight up react off of this. Though there's some expectation overflow, like yeah, I do think we're going to sweep it. Let's see.
Yeah, we should sweep that low, and then we should get a pullback, and then we should get there you go.
Yeah.
Take them off now, mate. Once
It's
you
a
broke them.
very minor sweep, but
What have you made on them?
oh, let's close 90. Let's close 90 of them.
Yeah, close
We can just
90%.
hold it a little bit, whatever. Like, we have such a good entry on it, right? I don't think price is going to come all the way back and necessarily
I
like
would
break
guess
above
so.
these supply
Hey,
zones.
I've got a bounce, bruv. But
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming, Sam.
I will chat to you
Always fun
soon.
to have you on.
Take it easy. Bye, guys.
We'll keep running it for another 15-ish minutes, guys. Because I like to do at least 2 hours here. Try to learn as much as you can. Let's go. Yeah, listen, we're fully open for QA. You guys have any other questions or anything? You want me to take anything? Go for it. I just wanted to get the ball rolling at the start, so that's the reason we kind of like waited.
Hey
But,
man, I see that like if you wait for the 15 minutes, you miss a lot of trades, to be honest. Like 15-minute break of structure.
what's that?
I see that if you wait for like the 15-minute break of structure, like in all those down moves, you miss a lot of trades.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen, right? Like, there's no way we can necessarily like catch all of them either.
Yeah.
In the future, what we can do is we can take all of them, but I like to be realistic with it too. Like, listen, you're gonna miss trades. It's a fact, right? And obviously, you're gonna take losses too. So, I'd rather miss a trade that is valid, that maybe isn't the highest probability, rather than take everything and be overexposed, right? Remember, it's a risk management game. So like at the end of the day, like I'm trying to protect my capital. This is my first priority. It's not to scale into every single trade, right? But I get it. From the point of learning, it makes sense. Looks like we're just continuing to push down off of this. See if we even get a pullback here. Well, it looked like Frankfurt and London volatility kicked to the downside on this one. So potentially even missed a couple trades here. But let's see. Junior, to answer your question, in terms of like what percent I go for, like I want you to consider this, like all you really need is 5R in profit for the week to be making like really, really good money on just one FTMO, right? So I don't set like necessarily a hard goal or whatever. My goal more than anything, and I've said this 1,000 times before, is just to remain consistent and let the results kind of come as a product of that, right? Because if I'm focusing on the results, I find that like that will kind of throw my consistency off, right? You can get kind of like too dependent on the outcome, and like it's literally going to throw your game off, right? So for me, I'd rather focus on waking up at the right time, being consistent in my analysis, my higher time frame analysis, mid time frame analysis, my lower time frame analysis, and then eventually like entry, right? And my whole like process of execution. As long as that's all consistent, I can expect some consistency in my results, right? But it's impossible to be like fully consistent 100% of the time too, right? You know, things in life can kind of get in the way. You could get sick, for example, right? Say you have a cold, I wouldn't necessarily say to trade while you're sick. Like, who would do that? You're not gonna have the same focus as you would. You wouldn't be 100% on mentally, like you would if you're not sick, right? So, just a small example.
Hey Robert,
trade
are
New
you
York,
on? Okay, are you
Go ahead,
on
man, go
US
ahead.
time? Yeah, I was
What's that?
just gonna ask around the same train of thought. Are you in the US
Yeah, I'm located on the East Coast. Yeah,
and you trade London?
I do, but as you guys know, if you're from the Eastern like coast, it is very hard to wake up at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of experimenting with it still. Like I have traded London for a long time. Recently, like the past couple of weeks, I haven't. I've just been marking up, but I've been doing more New York. But I'm getting back into it again. Just,
I tried for 1 week and I was a walking zombie.
yeah. The other thing you can do, and I was talking to Sam about this morning actually, is Sam doesn't even necessarily trade both sessions. You can trade just one, right? I actually do prefer London because I feel like, again, the timing between Frankfurt and London Open, the volatility, everything that kind of lines up is just like easier overall to play than New York, where I feel like you're sitting on your hands potentially for up to 4 hours. And if you're feeling impatient that day, you're going to take a forced trade potentially, right?
Yeah,
That's what happens
New
when you're
York
sat
to
in
me
front of the
seems
chart.
like it doesn't follow the same logic that the London session does.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly. I mean, we still trade the same like price action principles and everything, right? We're looking for sweeps of liquidity, structure, runs of liquidity, that kind of thing, right?
Hey man, when you trade in New York, what time do you wake up though?
7 or earlier, right? If you're on the Eastern Coast, you want to trade New York, I would say wake up at like 6. Get yourself ready for the day. Okay, there's news on this. I'm not even going to trade this.
And when you mean like get yourself ready, what do? You just like,
well, in the morning, like
you take a shower?
Yeah, I take like either I'm going to take a cold shower or whatever to wake me up, because look, it's different for everybody, right? Like some of you guys might be morning people. I'm not, but I feel like I've forced myself to be one. It's yeah, I mean, I would do that, like whatever you need to do to wake yourself up, right? I find I make poor trading decisions when I hop right out of bed and hop onto the chart. So I'd rather like give myself some time. You know what I mean? And like same applies for London too. It's not like, you know, even if I'm waking up at 1 in the morning, same thing. I'm gonna go hop in the shower, whether it's a hot or cold shower, or whatever. If I need to get a coffee, then I'll do that. Eat breakfast, right? For me, it takes an hour to get up. Some people I know, you just hop out of bed and they're like good to go. I'm not like that, so whatever, I accommodate for it, right? I wish I lived in London though. Guys who live in London, you guys have it really good, honestly. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going over there every once in a while, like every 2 to 3 months, just to to trade when I'm fresh in the morning. I don't have to wake up at 1 a.m. Eastern time to trade London.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you could do is if you sleep during the day, right? You could always wake up, I guess, at like 7, 8, 9, and then just stay up all the way. That's a way of doing it too. And then if you're just trading London, I mean, it's really like a 3-4 hour gap, right? And then you can sleep through New York and kind of live like a somewhat normal life, right? So there's a few ways that you can do it. You can do it in a biphasic way, or you can try and get your 8-hour block of sleep. I advocate sleeping 8 hours. Like, I'm sorry, but people who sleep like 3-4 hours, like, not good for you, right?
Yeah.
I don't think
I think I'm
it's,
gonna do that. Maybe wake up for London, trade
Yeah.
London, and then just go back to sleep for New York.
Yeah. Well, that's
wake up like at
that's
11
what
a.m.
Blackwatch does, right? And I do that too. Like when I trade London, if I catch like a couple good trades in London, like whatever, you call it a day, right? Why expose yourself to
Yeah.
more? Like know when to call it quits for the day, whether you're like in profit or loss. Like especially when
sure.
you're in profit, you don't want to give your profits back either. Like just forcing trades, overexposing.
This week I was up 3.5% and ended up giving most of it back by the end of the week.
So why do you think that happened though?
Honestly, because I was rushing trades, I was experiencing FOMO looking at the Euro USD chat.
Yeah.
I rushed a lot of trades.
You got to be careful with the chats and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I find even me, like it sometimes I'll get roped into taking trades that I FOMO on. So you got to be careful. There is value in that chat, I think, for like looking at setups and seeing what other people are taking, but do not copy people and don't copy like management. I know, like, I think at some point somebody was like copying some of these like 5-minute trades that I was doing before and like the management without really understanding it, right? So please don't do that. Like, do your own analysis, do your own research, take your own trades, because like you gotta learn from it. You gotta be able to replicate it in the long term. Right? You're not gonna learn it from just like copying and not really thinking about what you're doing, right?
For sure, for sure.
So do you perform better in London or New York?
So historically, the funny thing is I've actually performed the best in New York. And I think it's due to the amount of like sleep I was getting. But that being said, I find London easier to trade. Not from a perspective of, yeah, I think this is actually a good area here. Here, we'll rewind and take that. That was actually nice when I wasn't really paying attention. This is a little bit out of our trading hours, but yeah, anyways, in terms of like, again, timing and everything, I do think Frankfurt London Open are easier to trade and there's more volatility to capture. Again, with New York, like you're potentially sitting on your hands until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, almost London close to take your first trade, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have to have patience with it. The positive side for us, like on the Eastern Coast, is like, I mean, at least for me, it's easier to wake up at a normal time and not like kind of like work a graveyard shift, right? That's really what we're doing trading London. So, but that's what I attributed to. I think it's because it's like a sleep thing more than anything for me. But when I was like trying to trade both consistently, I was over trading and just like outright tired, right? And you're literally sitting on the screen for upwards of like 3 + 5 hours, pretty much 7 hours in the middle of the night, and then plus like in the morning, right? And then sleeping during the day. Like it's not easy.